Welcome to How to Yu-Gi-Oh!
Historic Archetype, Ritual Beast.
Chapter 1.
Okay, so in this video, I'm gonna talk about Ritual Beast, how this archetype has influenced Yu-Gi-Oh! And what it's all about. With that being said, let's get on with the rest of the video.
Chapter 2.
Wait for it, and here we are at the first infamous archetype in Yu-Gi-Oh! The archetype that is the first ever in Yu-Gi-Oh! History to be put on the ban list for time wasting. You heard that right, time wasting.
Are you serious?
Before even the concept of time wasting was a thing and put into official rules now, this was the archetype that introduced the concept of basically wasting time. The archetype itself, and even with its early gameplay loops and functions, didn't really do anything, and they just had effects to activate effects. Who in their right mind designed this archetype, I have absolutely no idea. This is an archetype that has a gameplay loop that makes no sense, right? And it's only with new and recent support that the gameplay loop actually now finally makes some sense. But on its initial release, it was doing absolutely nothing, getting itself onto the ban list for time wasting. I really don't know, and it's definitely one of the most confusing archetypes that Konami has ever released in Yu-Gi-Oh! History. That's for sure. With cards such as Spiritual Beast Kanahawk, Spiritual Beast Apelio, Ritual Beast Tamer Lara, and Spiritual Beast Tamer Lara, definitely this is an archetype not to be forgotten anytime soon.
Chapter 3.
Okay, and so here we have it. So what was the card that made the infinite loop that got limited? It was Ritual Beast Alti Kanahawk that you see in front of you. That's right, this is the card, the culprit for nonsense. When Ritual Beast, when they came out, did the loop that they did by basically summoning Alti Kanahawk and then defusioning it with their own effects, refusioning it, defusioning, refusioning, and you ask yourself, what does this play style, what does this gameplay loop amount to? Well, let me tell you, my dear students, it amounts to absolutely nothing. So let me get this straight. We have a loop, a gameplay loop, that does not further the game state, does not decrease the opponent's life points. It does absolutely nothing.
My poor heart, I can't take it.
And this is allowed to exist. What in the actual hell? No.
I find this rather odd.
No, What is this? Who made this loop should get shot. Who made this archetype? What were they thinking? It befuddles the mind. I am confused. I am literally confused. Like the whole player base was confused with this archetype. To this day, no, we do not know what Ritual Beast actually does. Right? We don't know. Do they put a massive negate on the board? Do they do massive damage? What are they doing? What does this archetype do? We do not know. But what we do know, that it is a huge time waster. And what we do know is that this is the first archetype in Yu-Gi-Oh! History, right? To be put on the ban list for time wasting. Introducing the concept of time wasting, of wasting people's time. Now, we've had archetypes in the past, don't get me wrong, that have a playstyle that advances the game state. But an archetype with a specific playstyle that does absolutely nothing is beyond. The fact that the archetype has no win condition whatsoever is beyond me. Now, granted, Konami has recently released new support for Ritual Beast. I believe it was last year. So it does somewhat further the game state. And yes, now they actually do have a win condition, as you can see there, with the link 4, which is Ritual Beast Reira Utari. Finally, the archetype isn't a complete waste of time. And actually, last year, Ritual Beast did top and win regionals, and I don't think it won ICS, but finally it justified its existence by actually winning something. Thank you so much, Konami, for making the archetype actually have a function. I think it was the first time Ritual Beast has ever proven itself in its existence. As before this, I think this was the archetype that has just not topped anything because it doesn't do anything. And that's all I've got to say about this archetype.
Final chapter.
And so, here I am at the conclusion. So, what I want to say about Ritual Beast, what I want to say is that this has been, and I still regard it as the most confusing archetype in Yu-Gi-Oh history, right? Like, to this day, I don't think a lot of players, or even majority of players, do not know what Ritual Beast actually does.
Facts.
Sure, you can read their effects, and sure, you can do the gameplay loops and combos that they do. But what is the end goal? What are we actually doing here with these cards is beyond me. And yes, they do have a boss monster, and yes, they do have fusion monsters, as you can see in front of you, that actually do something, right? And funnily enough, they're not once per turn, so it's pretty good, right? So there's ingredients here, like, for something good. But what do we do with these ingredients? How are we playing? What is our play style? What is our end goal here? Is the big question. And this is the problem, right, with this archetype. A lot of things that this archetype is doing, right, we don't know why we're doing it. Why do we get rid of our huge boss monster to defuse and then refuse? What is the purpose of this? Does this help the game state in any way? Do we have burn effects? What is going on? A lot of times when you look at this archetype and how it plays, and even when it's described its playstyle, it's completely, utterly confusing, as we do not know what is going on. Like, it's not that it's a bad archetype, it's that there is simply no goal that the archetype is willing to do. Never have I seen an archetype in Yu-Gi-Oh! That is simply just time wasting. It just does absolutely nothing, right? And it is the epitome of a troll deck in Yu-Gi-Oh! This, I believe, is a troll archetype that Konami made. I think this is some archetype that was made on a dare or something. Just an archetype that just does absolutely nothing. It's just a lot of words, a lot of text, and it's just nothing, right? Absolutely nothing. You can see this archetype, and I think from the previous slides before, and there'll be nothing that is mentioned. And I think that's all I've got to say in this video, and that's really all I've got to say about Ritual Beast, the most confusing and archetype of all time. Tune in next time as I'll talk about more things on this channel. Hope to see you soon.
We come to the end of this video. So, as I like to say, you are one step closer to becoming a Yu-Gi-Oh! Master. My fate, right, is in your hands.